live on Facebook. Duchenne live. Delete. Look at how fast I am at this now, guys. I'm like a
it's
pro.
amazing.
Nice.
It only took me 6 weeks to figure it out.
Hey, progress is progress.
Yeah, we're all learning.
All right. All right. We are live. Okay.
All
Bye,
right.
guys. Sorry, did I mess you up, Ryan? I'll unspotlight you.
No, actually, we're good. Just do like it. It's good.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Hello, Facebook land. So good to see y'all tonight for our Thursday night Duchenne Life. Super fun. Tonight we're going to be chatting about life after high school. Yes, there's life after high school, believe it or not. The past couple weeks have been really fun. We did middle school, what it was like in middle school, and then last week we tackled high school. So I'm excited to see and hear all about what's next. So I guess that's it. Take it away, guys.
All right. Well, thank you, Lindy.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's happening to watch on my Twitch, hi. I think we're good. So today we're talking about high school, life after high school. We talked about high school last week. And there'll be more ways to hear from us pretty soon. But after 18, excuse me, I ate too many frogs earlier. But you know, around after high school is when things really start changing for us. We all go different paths. It's that way for everybody. For us especially, it's different with the disability, depending on what you want to do. So today we're going to talk about the different things we've done. First of all, let's talk about what are some of the things we, the end as soon as we graduate high school, like services or things provided for us. I know, there's physical therapy that's provided, that changes, and there's a lot of life changes we have to navigate. Yeah, so DJ Kimball, for me, I lost all services. And yeah, I remember I went to MDA clinics, they paid for it all. After 18, all of a sudden, they didn't really call me about it. They didn't really say much about it, or I just didn't know. How about you guys that graduated high school more recently than some of us? Did you lose services also when you graduated high school or turned 18?
Not what I don't recall anything changing. Although I didn't use too many services to begin with, but I guess the only other change was sort of like taking more control over managing my medical care, basically. So like shifting towards more adult care is probably the biggest change for me. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question though.
Oh, did you have physical therapy in high school?
I did
Provided
not
by.
have. I did not have that. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have. Okay.
Or if I didn't know about it.
Okay, and maybe it's a different state or different school districts.
Yeah.
All right. So how was graduation for us? For me, I think graduation was pretty. Okay, so Matthew, you didn't have physical therapy either.
Oh, okay. So there are some similarities.
Okay.
I guess there's some differences across where we live.
Yeah, I think. David, did you have physical therapy in high school?
Yes, I did receive it.
Okay, but did that end?
Well, I mean, I did join I stopped using physical therapy, really, but I didn't really I didn't lose the service really. It's something that my insurance always covered.
Okay.
So I was fine on that front.
Okay, yeah, my
I didn't
insurance,
really,
yes, sir. Okay,
yeah, I didn't really lose any services,
oh, well, that's nice.
but yeah, and I'm actually after high school I became eligible for the class program. It's a state program, and yeah, it was like right as soon as I turned 18 or 19, I became eligible for that, and that allowed me to get even more services. I I um the one major thing that I got from joining the program is that um that allowed me to have caregivers funded by the state basically,
Okay,
and and it was very beneficial for my
okay,
family
all right,
because it allowed for for my mom and for my other family members to be hired to be my to get paid for being my caregivers.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
thanks. Um, and that's kind of leading into, so we have that. And what was graduation like for all of you? Like, did you go to graduation? Did you celebrate? Um, while so Matthew said that graduation went fine. Matthew, I was glad to be out of there. That's a lot. I'm sure a lot of people share that same opinion.
Yeah, graduation was pretty good for me as well. I did have a party with friends, so that was fun. And a lot of those people I don't see after that. It's I guess it's just like how it is after high school. But same kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. For my graduation, we had a baccalaureate. You know, it's kind of like a religious thing. We had to do that in some other
Mhm.
building, and they had to like carry my chair and have some steps for us. Not the most optimal, but okay, so yeah, then graduation was just pretty normal. And I think it was just a family thing. We didn't do anything too big. Matthew had family and friends come over to celebrate. How about you, DJ? Do you have a big wild rager? Felix, would you like to read what DJ
Yeah, sure.
said for?
DJ says I enjoyed graduation very much because I had succeeded in getting all the way through. I had a graduation party in a field behind our house because I knew it was probably the last time I'll see my friends from school again, and that was actually what happened. Yeah, so similar experience too.
Yeah, what's funny for me is I'll actually see people around town that know who I am, but I have no idea who they are because
Oh yeah.
they remember me from high school. I know social media is nice. It's a way to connect with people that
Yeah.
you wouldn't have before.
How about you, David? How was it like?
Um, it was very nice. It really felt like a huge relief to finally be done with that. With high school, my last 2 years were very stressful in high school. I just had a lot on my plate with all the schoolwork and everything. And just and I was having a hard time socially as well. And yeah, and it felt like it was just very hard, you know. And as I really felt like I couldn't wait to be done and just to be out of that like situation altogether, you know. And I mean, and I mean, also but I did really I did have a big party and I did celebrate it, you know. Um, so so not only was it a relief, it was also just like just something to really celebrate, you know. And I was very happy with the turnout and everything. But yeah, I didn't really I don't really see people from high school anymore. I stay in touch with like maybe like 2 or 3 people, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
but yeah, that's about it. And I graduated high school about 8 years ago, so it has definitely been a long time, and
Mhm.
to this point, I only still talk to like the same 2 or 3 people, you know.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common.
Yep.
DJ said I would agree. Social media has allowed me to reconnect with a lot of my friends again. I would have loved it 20 years ago for sure. And that's something you guys, DJ and I are like right at the age where like we had MySpace that
Mhm.
got messed up and canceled. Facebook was
Right.
different at the time. So yeah, we did have some time there where it was easy to kind of lose track of people.
I actually found during sort of COVID times, it's easier to sort of reach out to people since everyone's like sort of online a lot of the time. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, COVID has definitely changed things.
Nice, Matthew.
The dog days of summer, right?
Yep.
Turn Matthew into a dog. So
It's
next thing
too
we were
hot
going
these days.
to it's only 109 degrees where I'm at right now.
About the
Nice
same
cool
here.
weather. You know, I'm so cold I have to have a heater on. So all right, so graduation. I'm sure all of us were like, we go through school, graduation so far away. Then all of a sudden it's here, we're graduated. It's like, well, what do I do now? So let's kind of move over more to that area, like what we did after. Um,
Yeah.
and so did any of you guys ever think about moving away from home? I know for me, it's 99 for Matthew and Georgia, but you guys got humidity. But for me, moving away from home wasn't really something I had thought about. Um, I went to my local community college here, and then after that, I was like, oh, what do I do? I can't really, only my mom helped me. And then it got to where they were dependent on me, I was dependent on them. And so I didn't really think about it too much. But what did you guys think?
I guess I kind of had some brief thoughts before, nothing too intensive. But we did end up just deciding to. So I made a conscious effort to sort of apply to schools that are close enough for me to get to. So that was the plan, just for kind of like the same thing as what you're saying, Ryan. Like I would need help from my parents to get to school and things like that. And what kind of changed that even further was my first school semester actually broke my leg, which made me immobile from then on. So that also discouraged me even further. So that was kind of my situation.
Okay, and that, like, looking back, it would have been nice to have had that dorm experience here.
Yeah.
And then I'd still be home as a backup plan, or I'd be around, my hometown. I know of somebody that they have a different disability. I think they were a little more able than I was, and they had a roommate that actually helped do their caregiving. But it would have been harder.
Yeah.
Most male college students aren't. I don't know. Most college students are just, how we are. We've all been that age.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I tried to get involved in some of the dorm culture stuff, but it's not easy if you're not on site.
Yeah, it's just there's so many. I didn't know that I missed stuff until just recently when I've been around college students. So like, oh, I missed a lot of stuff. DJ said it was the same for me, Ryan. I did think about it, but in reality, it wasn't even viable at that time, mostly due to my physical limitations.
Yeah, I realized that later on as well.
And that is a definite fear, something to think about, because if we get sick, we can't just expect anybody to take care of us.
Yeah.
So
You might
Matthew
have.
said,
Okay,
"Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead."
I don't know
Yes.
if you want me to read it or you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and read it,
Okay.
Felix.
So Matthew says moving out didn't seem possible, so I didn't think about it. And after high school, I went to a rehab place and learned how to manage my care. I was there 6 months. They had nurses and who can take care of him.
Okay, and that looking back, that's a lot better way than waiting than your parents have an accident or pass away. That like me, that I got to
Yeah.
figure out how to do it on my own. So definitely, that's a great idea, Matthew, to do that. And so we'll give DJ a chance to ask it. Okay. So yeah, DJ had quite a few things to. So Lindy asked, that was about when you got your trach. Oh, guess what? Everyone can see chat. I forgot. Yes, DJ says yes. 1 year to the day of graduation, DJ got a trach, and that changes things too. It's a whole learning curve for everybody. David, did you ever think about moving out?
Also, I think you're muted.
No,
there.
no, I really, I really try, I really, I really try my best to make sure that I didn't have to move out. Really, I didn't really consider moving out an option. It's because I felt like we had my family, we had a really good system in place, and I guess I've been very afraid, to even put my care in someone else's hands, and
Yeah.
but then of course if I really had to, maybe I would reconsider it. But I ended up enrolling in a university that's within driving distance. And so for that reason, I never really felt the need to move out of the house. It felt like the most convenient thing to have my care in my family's hands.
Yeah.
But
Because
but it did but it did make it harder to really engage in all the activities at school. I was never really involved at all at my university. So so it made it definitely made it a lot harder to socialize.
yeah, I think we're all there with you, David. We get that. So DJ said, from the time I received my trach, I required 24/7 care. And at that time, my mom was the only option if I wanted to be at home. So she had to quit work and her training for Head Start to take care of me. And Felix, I'll let you read Matthew's comment.
Matthew says he got a girlfriend at the rehab place and they were like fire and ice.
Well, guess I should have gone to a rehab place. But yeah, DJ said it's still the only option for his mom. That's one thing we know about parents, family, moms is, you know, we know that they're going to take care of us 100%. That trusting is hard to trust somebody else. You know, that's especially we've been with our parents all our life. So Matthew tried college, but I tried college, but I just wasn't into it, and I just didn't think it was right for me. And most of my college experience came from so there was a program, like a religious program I was a part of. That's where I got most of my interaction, and from classes. Um, so I did college. I did the 2 years, didn't know what to do. And somehow I got stuck and stayed for 14 years. I don't know what happened to me, but I'm glad you guys didn't get trapped like that. I'm just kidding. It wasn't a trap. But Felix must be having some technical difficulties. Oh, could somebody let me see what his message said? I'm sure there are technical difficulties. Oh, okay. That was Felix. All right. So we've talked about moving away from home. I think the options for school and moving away from home now are much better than they were. I remember for a while I was trying to look at programs that, even if they said I had to go somewhere for a week, that just didn't work for me because I couldn't do that. You know, one thing, we get dependent on our parents, and I think our parents really, in a way, you know, that has to be hard for a parent to uh, let a child go somewhere. At least it would have been for my mom. I always told my mom if I got married, you know, would she be okay if I moved? Well, yeah, just expect to see us on your porch every day. Um, so we talked about moving away from home, and we talked about how that is
All right,
connected
sorry
to
about that.
college. It's all right, Felix. We all have technical difficulties happen sometimes.
Yep.
So Felix, did you have a definite plan after college?
Oh, after college. Yeah, so
Or I mean, wait, yeah, after college. Okay, yeah, after college.
after college, right? Yeah, so I guess I was kind of like so I had two ideas. So one was grad school, which I'm currently doing right now, but the other one was to see if there were any jobs I could apply for. So kind of my situation at that time was sort of uncertain. Ideally I would have wanted to go to grad school. But actually that's a bit of a story, which was kind of interesting. So I don't know if y'all ever had the experience of like people who don't have disabilities or any experience trying to tell you how you should do this or you should do that. I know Ryan, you talked about some people who've done that. And so one thing that kind of affected me when applying to grad school, like people couldn't understand, were asking me why I wasn't applying like out of state and stuff like that outside of Texas. And it was kind of a situation where it almost made me not actually get into grad school. But luckily I did. So I was at that time I applied for a fellowship, and so I didn't get into grad school initially, and then what happened was then I got the fellowship. Luckily, I don't know how that happened, but I luckily got that. So I was like, hey, will you like take me in at this point? So that was kind of my situation for the uncertainty part of that. But at the end of the day, it worked out.
Okay. Matthew, I'm sorry we didn't read your comment earlier. So Matthew said that I played power soccer for 7 years, which was a lot of fun. We traveled all over the Southeast and even went to Canada.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Very impressive. So Matt, Felix, I'm like impressed your plan and everything. It is funny. I remember people would ask me, "Oh, what are you going to do after college?" Like until I was going to school. Oh, we're going to go to school. I'm like, where do you think I'm going to?
Yeah,
They don't understand that traveling, going somewhere else isn't the easiest thing for us.
yeah, it kind
Um,
of became sort of really not so good situation because this person was someone who advised me throughout college on different things, and they were kind of not budding, not budging off of that. So it kind of became a situation, to say the least.
the biggest thing is they don't like to see people like to see you get like a bachelor's degree, a master's, and PhD at different places.
Yeah,
They think it looks better. That's why they encourage you to do that. But
yeah, I've heard that too.
yeah, great idea. But if the school where I'm at is the only place I could go, that's the only thing I could do.
Yeah,
But but yeah, I am very impressed about your plan. I basically feel like a pinball machine. Do you guys know what a pinball machine is? I'm not that
yeah,
too old. Okay, good. Just making sure. And I just kind of bounced around, just make a plan here. I bounce. Oh, look, this works. One thing that tell me if you guys, I know this is a little off the script here, but did you guys ever have people like try to tell you what you should study? Everybody said, "Oh, you're going to study computers." They'd give you all these things to study that they knew I could work from and do from home. Do you have that a lot? Anybody like people try to tell you what you should do, like what you should study?
Well, I guess like initially I kind of changed what I was interested in. So initially I was thinking of clinical psychology. Um and actually I don't know if y'all know the Poyeskis or not, but actually Dr. Poyeski was he let me intern with him, and that was part of my interest there. Um but then I changed to IO, so I guess that's one change for me.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah, I guess
still,
that, yeah, I don't know if someone actually told me to do that or not, but yeah.
okay. Yeah, so Matthew said nobody ever told him, tried to give him ideas what to do. Now I just try to enjoy my life, and do things that are fun. You actually want to read what DJ said?
Yeah, DJ says I heard about the computer, and it turned out they were right 20 years later, and still right.
And my thought is, I'm on the computer all the time, so that's why people said that. I'm like, I want to do computers for fun. I don't want to have to do it like that's my job every day.
Hmm.
I have somebody, an acquaintance that like they're always upset at me for not doing computer stuff because I could do web stuff at home, like web design, or I could have become like somebody works on sound stuff for movies. Like, sure, maybe I could have, but doesn't mean I wanted to or would like to, or I
Yeah,
don't think other people.
yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead,
don't think
sorry.
other people would like it if I'm like, hey, you know what? You shouldn't have studied that, doctor. You should have gone to Broadway instead. Maybe I'll tell that to my doctor next time I see him.
That's a good one to say.
Yeah,
But yeah, I just don't understand sometimes some people just get like they think they know what's best for you and they have no experience whatsoever with disabilities or whatever. And it just like I don't get where people get this sort of like sense of, I don't want to say entitlement, but like thinking that you should listen to them and they know what's best.
well, in a way, it's nice that people think that they feel like we're normal. You know that maybe we might want to go off somewhere else to school,
Yeah.
but then they can be a little too concerned about our future welfare. It's like, you know, let me figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have been told that I should study that. Oh, I should study math. Well, it's basically I was actually really good at math, and I did actually enjoy doing math, studying math, but that's not something that I want. But that's not something that I wanted to do for a living,
Yeah,
And so I ended up studying um philosophy and and um and of course in the field of philosophy there's not really, it doesn't make you that much money.
yeah,
There's really not very much money in philosophy. And so and so I am told that people want me to study something that will make me money.
yeah,
And I understand why one might be concerned about establishing like a life for myself, that I can have a job that really pays me well,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean that is something to consider. But then I've been told over and over and over again, and usually by the same people,
yeah,
that does feel tiring after a
yeah,
while.
definitely. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
um, so to counteract you, David. DJ said, "I'm just glad no one recommended math because I don't do math ever."
So
I'll just say I took college algebra 4 times, and not because I loved it, but finally I took it to the summer. Felt, oh, you got to study to pass. Okay, My passion was history. I got to college, it's like, what am I good? Okay, I could teach history. There's not a lot of other stuff that I could do with history, which makes it kind of rough. Um, but yeah, so one thing I want to say to anybody out there, this is kind of me getting on a soapbox. Don't worry, guys, I had a rap on it. It's all 88. It's an 88 soapbox. Um, college isn't everything. To any parents out there, anybody, you don't have to go to college to be successful. In fact, there's a lot of people out there with master's degrees that make a lot less than people that don't have any kind of degree. So, we need everybody. I don't want, I have a PhD in psychology, but that doesn't mean I'm some kind of elitist because like, I have 4 brothers, they all 4 have a CDL. We need everybody. And one thing I would say is, even if you have a disability, there's types of vocational work you could do. If you could learn like AC or electrician, well, you could talk to somebody, help talk them through things. CDL, Indy, is a commercial driver's license. So all 4 of my brothers can drive a truck. 2 of them are actively truck drivers right now. So I definitely appreciate that. I just want to say that. For anybody out there with a disability, yeah, we've got a lot more stuff to consider as far as if we're going to be getting employment or jobs. And I think that kind of leads us to our next topic is job plans. I don't know very many people that plan a job, what they're going to do in high school and actually do it, or doing it 20 years later. Would you like to go first, Felix, about your job
Sure.
plans?
Yeah, so I guess like in grad school, doing the PhD has kind of a very specific path, but I guess like I'm actually, to tell you the truth, I'm actually pretty nervous about that going forward. If I want to do academia and continue being a professor, for example, um, there's only those few positions open at a time, so I don't know if that's going to happen. Additionally, I could go to an industry route, but then once again, I've had experiences with interviews before, and it's kind of like your qualifications are good up to the point when they see you in a wheelchair, things instantly change in terms of the job interview. But like you also never know, which is also the worst part too. Like you really don't know what is going on and you can only guess, but a lot of the time it feels like once they know you have a disability, things just immediately changes.
Before we go on, I missed a message from DJ. DJ agrees. I'm like DJ. DJ says I'm fine with numbers, but once they started adding letters, nope. It does change things. Felix, you definitely have more of a plan than I ever had. I was going to be a special operation, like special forces soldier. That didn't pan out. I'm still waiting to hear back from the CIA about being a secret agent. I watched too many James Bond movies when I was young. Um, Working with something I've always wanted to do. Uh, I love, like, I want to do adjunct teaching. I worked at a school one time with a master's degree as essentially an aide, which, I did that for 2.5 years. Sure, I would have liked to have gotten paid more, but the work was satisfied because of who I was helping. But one big thing that people with disabilities have that so many people don't understand is, if we're on government help, we get
Yeah.
long-term care, we get things like that. And if we make too much money, we lose those benefits. But we have to be able to make enough money to not only support ourselves and our family or whoever, and pay for care, and then we have to pay for caregivers. So that is definitely
Yeah.
something we have to consider. That's
And the
yeah,
threshold
DJ.
where that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, DJ said I never had a job plan because I wasn't sure what to do. today I know what I want to do, but the restrictions of what we can earn in order to keep our benefits we rely on. It
Yeah, and the
is,
threshold where that happens is like super low, right? Like it's not something super like you can earn just a little bit and you'll be considered not
so
like
you're allowed to
yeah.
have $2,000 total assets, not counting a house or a car. You can have a house and car,
Yeah.
and you're allowed to make, I think, 2,583 a month. And that's includes Social Security or whatever kind of, or disability or whatever you get. And you're stuck at that number. And
Yeah, just
then,
about poverty
yeah, just
level.
about poverty level. And if you happen to get married, or even now if you're to live with somebody, or you're in a relationship, they count both of your assets that you can make 4,500 together. And I think you could have more assets if you're just depending on if your spouse is able or daughter.
Yeah, and I saw online like if you just like count all the costs that we might have, that's like way beyond what that amount would cover, right? So we do need to try to get more, but like that's not what they consider in terms of that threshold.
Yeah. So and right now, let's say you're getting $1,000 from Social Security for your benefits. You can make $1,500 at a job, and you can keep it all. As soon as you go over like you make $2,000, well, they're going to cut 500 what they were paying you, and so there is a spot there where you're used to what you're getting, and then you go and up, and you can lose that. If you do get married, your spouse is expected to make money to make up for that, which is very difficult. But yeah, Lindy said that about $1 million of medical expenses for the life of an individual with DMD. Yeah. So my plan is right now that I managed to work enough, and then I started my own business finally a couple of years ago, and I'd be able to get disability on my own. Which even if, say, if I get married or in a relationship, if I could still get the disability, but then there's still the money limit will apply. But yeah, so we need like, does anybody know how much their wheelchair cost? I think mine is like 36 or $40,000 for just my wheelchair.
Mine is 72.
72. Man, did you get yours from
Yeah.
Ferrari?
Uh,
Nice.
it's a promo bill wheelchair, one of the new ones.
Yeah,
I
mine's a
believe.
purple bill too, but wow, okay. What am I missing out on?
That could also be varying state by state again.
Yeah, it would. That too, and insurance, and I'm sure all kinds of things. But yeah, so it is expensive. It's very hard to get out of that. Yeah, so Matthew says right now I'm a streamer, but I'm annoyed because I have to have an able account to make more money and not be penalized. And I think this financial stuff is probably, we could talk about this in a future episode, just more fully, but for anybody that doesn't know, an able account is an account that somebody with a disability can have. You can put $2,000 a month into it, I believe. The only caveat to it is if you pass away or something, the government gets all the money that's in it. But you can spend it on anything.
Oh, is there no limitations on what you can spend it on?
That's what I understand.
Oh,
Plus, you could call about anything, whatever you want to call it. If say you go on a trip, you can say it's for your mental health.
okay.
That's health related. So I know people that have used it to go on vacations. And yes, you need that for your health.
Mhm. I see.
Yeah, but there is a program now with Medicare that you can have a year to make however much you want without any penalties. Then after that year, you have to decide, is it enough or is it not? And I've had to turn down a lot of jobs that were great jobs, but they wouldn't pay me enough. Or,
Yeah.
I get a great job that pays, but it's part-time, or see this full-time jobs. Hey, can I have part-time instead? Just doesn't work that well.
And also before, like, could I have a remote job? Which sometimes maybe not. And then, but these days, because of COVID, maybe that's a possibility for us these days. I don't know.
Yeah, remote jobs are a lot more possible now because of COVID. Okay, so DJ says the funny part is about Medicaid and Medicare is that they pay 3 times as much for a service that it would cost out of pocket. Tell me that system isn't messed up. And a lot of that is because if insurance pays, providers will, um, bill them as much as they're willing to pay. One thing you can do is if you have to pay out of pocket, if you talk to your medical provider or whoever, tell them that you can't afford that. Many times there's a lot of them that'll be willing to just waive your part, but you didn't hear that from me. So Matthew, like, you can make money on SSI, but you're at that limit, and if that 2583, I believe. So if you make whatever you make over that, so if you make more than that, you're not going to be able to get SSI. And I don't know what they're going to do about their qualifying, but yeah, they'll always do whatever they can to make sure you're at that level. And like DJ said, you can't have more than $2,000, which was set in 1989.
Yeah.
So it is kind of weird that you can make 2,500 a month, but you're only allowed to have 2,000. Which is why they started the ABLE account. Because if you have a medical emergency and all you're allowed to have is $2,000, that's not really going to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it later in another episode. It took me till 2 years ago to finally figure out what I was going to do for a job. So it's not a race. As long as you get there and you're happy. Although I can't help to learn sooner. So I think I'm talking too much here, guys. Let's see. So next topic is how do we make friends and social life after high school? What was that like? Okay, so if you go to Family Friends of Duchenne on Facebook, Lindy has put resources and links that are definitely beneficial and tell us way more than I know, and correct any mistakes I've made. But just remember, it's not legal advice. It's, you know,
Yeah. Things
you can't
change
like,
all the time.
yeah, you can't like come back and say, hey, you said this, I'm going to sue you. But, but it's there. Yeah. Okay, on the chat for the live stream on Facebook. But I believe, yeah, you got to have the disclaimer, especially after talking about insurance and stuff.
We're also not giving medical advice either.
Yeah. But we will give you some advice about friendship now. Okay, and the government, okay. Well, we don't need to talk about the government today, DJ. Just so you guys know, we're DJ for president 2028. Oh wait, no, you're old. Never mind. DJ for president 2024. Forgot the age thing. As long as I can be your running mate, DJ, I'm good. Well, you're rolling mate, okay? Hey, appreciate your voice. So as far as friends, I can remember going to college, like my first day, I hate to admit it, but I was pretty nervous, worried, like, how am I going to make friends? What am I going to do? And I remember like it was yesterday, sitting in front of the library, and this guy came up in his sunglasses, looked pretty cool. He's like, just introduced himself to me, and he started talking, and we don't talk much. We're still friends. He decided to cover my book. And, you know, I found that you just have to talk to people. Then it kind of changes when you don't go out as much. Felix, did you make a lot of friends in college or after high
Um,
school?
yeah, so one thing that my university had was this residential college system. So if you think of how Harry Potter houses are, we kind of had our own like house essentially. So that was so I would make a lot of friends in the house basically. That includes the dorms, but um I mean I wasn't there in the dorm, so it's kind of different, but I think I was able to still meet some people like in classes and through that as well, and just getting also involved in some extracurricular activities. That was also a good way for me. Um, so yeah, just sort of here and there, but a lot of it came from classes, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, that classes do kind of happen. Felix, were you a Ravenclaw? It's just my hunch.
I guess.
Oh,
I don't. We have 11, so I don't know which one would be considered what.
okay, I just these American school wizards, they're different than the English ones, I guess. But
Oh yeah, Ivermony, whatever that's called.
right, yeah. So Matthew said, I honestly don't really try to make friends, but I made a few. Tried to talk to a few girls, it just doesn't work out. And DJ will give his answer here pretty soon. David, would you like to chime in?
Yeah. Um. So I made a few friends. In college. Um. It. Um. Yeah. And it really felt. It felt easier than in high school.
Yeah,
And it felt like the friends that I made, like that these friendships felt more real, and it felt like I made really good friends, a lot of friends who were really there for me and who really like treated me like anyone else,
yeah,
and that was very hard to find in high school.
yeah,
So I feel like socially, I did a lot better, and it was overall very it was better for me. I felt it felt like I really was able to make friends that I could grow with. And
yeah,
and, and I still talk to quite a few of them. Well, some of them I moved to like out of town, but for the ones that are in town, I still stay in touch with
yeah.
most of them.
Okay. And I think that's after school you find out who your friends are. And the whole concept of how you make friends or how they become friends, there's not really a science to, it just kind of happens or it doesn't. DJ said I still had my best friend, but other than that, I didn't really see my other friends. We stayed close for a few years, but as we got older, we drifted apart as we had other things to do, or he had other things to do. Do you miss hanging out like we used to? For sure. We still talk once in a while, but I miss hanging out a lot. Felix, you want to read Matthews?
Matthew says, I'm trying to talk to a girl now. She's very nice. We'll see what happens, but she's just probably being nice. Lol.
Felix, DJ said, today, though, after getting eye gaze, I have some old friends and a lot of new friends I enjoy hanging out with. And that's something I noticed. So let's see, DJ, you're 41, I believe. I'm 39. I'll be 40 in August. Yeah, we could do that. Matthew is 34, I believe. Hope you guys don't mind that. Felix, how old are you?
24.
And David, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, 26. All right. So we have several different ages here represented. All right, next Lindy. Lindy's our she takes care. Lindy does a lot. She's pretty amazing. Just let everybody out there that doesn't know Lindy know.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, okay, I see.
oh, there we go, DJ. Oh, DJ's got it. Look at that. Except now DJ's the only one showing. I don't know. Okay.
I think we got unspotlighted.
Yeah, oh, okay. There we go.
Oh, there we
All
go.
right, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Lindy, maybe we'll try that for next. Oh, well, I guess keep going. But yeah,
DJ
so-
wins.
yeah, because he got his first. So make sure to put 39 on mine first. I'm not 40 yet, okay? But
You want to stretch it out as long as possible?
might as well. Matthew, you're 34, right?
Yep.
I will say, like, as far as like the dating stuff, that does get complicated. Matthew, I have more wheelchair user friends than able-bodied friends. Okay. And I'm different up until honestly a couple of years ago. I didn't really have anybody else in a wheelchair, much less they had muscular dystrophy or DMD. David was 26.
Yeah, 26.
So
Ryan, you're 39.9 is what it says.
I still got 2 months. Wow, 2 months from tomorrow, okay. I call that 2.838
Yeah.
So, you said
Yeah.
83333. All the way
I think
down.
Lindy just turned 25. One thing I've noticed that people change when they're around 30. So I'll just say that kind of from Matthew. Around late 20s, 30, women that might not have looked at you in high school or college, they'll start, they're like, oh, I guess there's more important things. Muscles. Just remember, everybody, we're all 5 very muscular guys. So we got muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
It's in the name. But yeah, so we'll talk about the other stuff later. Oh, DJ says it starts going downhill after 40. Oh, great. Thanks, DJ. I got to hurry up now. I got 0.1 months, years to do it. Dang it, guys. I'm getting old. I've forgotten the thing I was going to say like 3 times now. If I quit talking. But I think definitely we could talk about relationships and things like that in another episode.
I
But
think
that
you're
is
talking about able-bodied friends versus not. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know.
Well, Matthew said, yeah. For me, I just kind of I wasn't around any people in wheelchairs or with the disabilities really. So
Mhm.
it doesn't make. But all my friends have a friend in a wheelchair. So I guess they're doing better. They're more diverse than me. Oh, so one thing I want to say, everybody. So I'm reading this on. I'm also streaming this on my Twitch channel, and we have somebody named DMD in it now, which I believe Lindy knows her. She also quit her job for her son's care, and he has a trach. So I just want to put that on there for everybody out there that that's one thing I think you'll see with Duchenne muscular dystrophy is there's a lot of different options or ways that will be. DJ Kimball said moms are great, and yes, they are. And where would we be without moms? That's all I can say.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked about friends a lot. How about medical decisions? Did we start taking up more medical decisions? And this is kind of a tricky question because I did, and my kind of medical decision was I don't need to see the doctor. I don't need to go see the doctor that much. But it was kind of funny after I used the same electric wheelchair 14 years. Somebody's like, you could get a new wheelchair every 5 years, right? Oh, okay. But so
Mhm.
immediately I didn't start taking on that many medical things till more recently as I did. Felix, like I didn't schedule my doctor's appointments. My mom did that for quite a while. How about you,
Yeah, so
Felix?
I kind of gradually shifted during college. Um Now I'm like, yeah, I'm the one who has to who schedules the appointments and stuff and communicating with doctors and things like that. Um it's not fun, that's for sure, but it's something that I've now gotten more used to doing, but yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
found
annoying
out that
situations.
I told my mom I don't like it. She said, "Well, you think I like it? Oh, I guess you're." She
Yeah.
didn't. They don't. She didn't like it any more than I did. But yeah, it just kind of. It's good that it gradually happens. We need
Yeah.
to make decisions. Felix, how do you get to doctor's appointments? Do you have a
Oh,
service that
so
picks you up and takes you, or just family?
yeah, just my parents to drive me there, but I also tried to think of like when is a good time to schedule it. So like let's say I'm at school, so the medical center is pretty close to my university. So I would try to like make sure that it's in one trip. So like in the afternoon or when I don't have class, like I would go to the clinic. So that's kind of my method.
Okay. Yeah, that is one thing. We've talked about this quite a few times. How we have to plan more than most
Yeah.
people. That's another thing for me is I got to plan. Okay, when are you off? When can you take me? Is the doctor
Yeah,
available?
exactly.
And one thing I've learned with doctor's appointments, find out when their lunch hour is and be the first appointment after lunch,
Yeah.
hoping that, or actually be the second, because the first, if they're late for lunch because of somebody else. Anyway,
Yeah.
just be one of those first two because they're more likely to be there and be on time.
I also try super early if I can, but that's sometimes not so fun.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. You're super early. It's like you hear somebody like, wait, they just got called to the same doctor as
Yeah.
me. Like, oh,
Yeah, so much waiting. All right, let's catch up here on the chat actually. You want me to read Matthew's?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
You gotta
Matthew says,
read the
sorry, go ahead.
emojis too, please. No,
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
Matthew says, power chair poop emoji.
There we go. All right.
Poop head emoji. My doctor told me to go ahead and get a trach before I have an emergency.
And all right, Matthew. Thanks. DJ said for me, my parents have always allowed me to be involved on decision making. My first major decision was whether to do the trach or just to go home and hope for the best. So I chose to have the trach because I enjoyed life too much just to not at least try.
And Matthew says, and we have a van, which I think he's referring to getting to the appointments.
Yeah,
Oh, he's turning off his camera for now.
yeah. And
right.
DJ says patience is a virtue when at doctor's
Oh, yeah.
appointments.
Oh,
You know, because everybody needs help. They're trying to do their best. There's no sense in getting upset.
yeah, it's a whole ordeal
Yeah,
sometimes.
but yeah, there definitely is. But scheduling, it's good to get to have our own say in what we do. Yeah, DJ's glad to be out of the house. And to anybody in chat, remember !charity. And there's a link there to be able to donate to DJ's van, which is also in the link in chat here later. You'll be able to find that. There we go. So yeah, anybody else want to, like, David, how do you handle your medical decisions?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much made all my, I made all my decisions, all my healthcare decisions. I pretty much always have. I mean, even from a very young age, around, I think around 8 years old. Well, at that time I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, they would always, my parents would always leave it up to me to make the final decision, and
Yeah,
I mean, my mom does schedule all my doctor appointments. Even now, but I'm beginning to handle more and more things
okay,
by myself.
good.
And then yeah, at the doctor's office, I ask all the questions and of course I have my mom with me to remind me of stuff that I might forget. But other than that, it's mostly in myself,
Yeah,
at the appointment, making the decision and
yeah,
asking all
and it is usually a good idea to have somebody else with you. No matter who you are, make sure you don't forget stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do that all the time. Like, get home, like, oh dang it, I was going to ask the doctor about this.
Well, the good thing
As
is
far
now you can message them with
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
they use.
Yeah, yeah, like, I just saw you, but I need this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been making a lot of use of the messaging apps that the doctors
Yeah.
use sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been using that to get in touch with them.
and one thing I want to say, we don't offer medical advice, but I am going to offer some medical advice. Don't skip going to your doctor for 10 years or so, or for however many years,
Mhm.
go a little bit. I finally went to my doctor because I thought I was dying. I all of a sudden it got to where I couldn't stay awake. I'd wake up like 9 times a night, panic, sweating, heart pounding, and basically I was having like sleep apnea events because my body, I quit breathing. And I had always sworn that I wasn't going to have any kind of help or anything. And honestly, that period of time burned some of my brain cells because I was going around quite often with very low oxygen. And finally, one night, like I did a study, like, here, you got to have this immediately. Oh, okay. So I thought, okay, I'll try it one time. And slept the whole night, could breathe, and
Nice.
great. So if I had talked to my doctor before, I would have known about that and wouldn't have lost the brain cells that I lost. But as we learned from Bob on Aliens versus Monster
hmm
concerning brains, it turns out you don't need one. So I guess we're okay.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And let's see, Felix. So I know
Mhm.
DJ and I didn't really do steroids. You know,
Yeah.
DJ has a trach, and I have this the
Mhm.
BiPAP that I wear. And I'm assuming, David, have you done the like steroid treatments and everything that they do now? I believe it's pretty standard.
No, I did not do the steroid treatment.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then three of us haven't done steroid treatments. Felix, the other one is
Oh.
like, what kind of medical procedures have you gone through? Since you're kind of the younger
So
generation.
yeah, so I guess like I guess some of this is procedure and some of it isn't, but like so one thing is when you take steroids, your bone density decreases. So one thing that's needed is this sort of forgetting the name, but it's like treatment for that basically to increase the well at least to decrease the loss of calcium over time basically in your bones. So that's one thing I did. Another thing was when I mentioned earlier when I broke my leg, that was a major thing, but I guess it's kind of a related issue because it's both related to lower bone density kind of things. And most recently, I'm trying to get this dental procedure, which Ryan and DJ know the nightmare I've been through for that. But that's been sort of a situation because you have to check with everyone about the various things. I also use a BiPAP as well, so I have the same thing in terms of that. Um, and yeah, I guess that's mostly it, but I
Do you
don't know if that
take
answers your
calcium?
question.
You take like supplements and vitamins? And
Yes, that
how
too.
do you
Yeah.
take your calcium?
Yeah, so I take the pills at this moment.
Okay. You're lucky. I can't swallow pills. It's not because of muscular dystrophy. I've
It's
never been able to swallow pills very well.
yeah, it's kind of a mind game. It's like you need to have enough water in your mouth to swallow it.
Yeah,
And
I have to
I kind
stare
of
at
have
one.
trouble with it sometimes.
So what I do is I stare at a point. I'll say, nobody speak to me, nobody. I stare at that point, I stick it in so I don't think about it too much. Then I
Mhm.
can swallow pills. But yes. But now I take chewable calcium. They even have flavored calcium, like caramel chews for chocolate, whatever you like.
Yeah. I usually take it when I'm eating. So I don't like I don't like it being flavored actually. So that's why I kind of opt for the pills because it kind of ruins the taste of the meal, if that makes sense. So that's kind
Yeah.
of my sense of that.
Okay, I get you there. I know some other common things that people with Duchenne have are surgeries to, for your spine.
Oh,
Can't think what it's called, but you like put a rod in there to help keep your
yeah.
back straight. Um, Feeding tubes, just, it depends on, it's between you and your doctor, how kind of,
Yeah.
what you do and what you need. And again, don't take long visits or not, long times of not seeing your doctor. Okay, DJ has all the above. But remember, you don't talk to your doctor, but you do have that decision you make yourself too.
Yeah, you don't have to agree to every treatment that is offered.
Okay. Over here in my Twitch, Dane the Gamer says that calcium citrate's better for absorption,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
needs to,
taking.
okay, yeah, it needs to be magnesium and calcium citrate. Because the
Yeah.
magnesium helps your body absorb calcium. Also, there's what I take called, I take zinc. That actually also helps
Mhm.
deliver calcium and vitamin D to things.
Gotcha.
But DJ is
Yeah, I take
also
a
struggling with pills.
multivitamin.
I already read that. You want to know what multivitamin I take?
Which
But-
one?
Flintstone's chewable with iron.
Oh, okay. I kind of like switch it up once in a while, but I kind of don't know which one I'm using at this point.
Well, if you are going to do a chewable, be aware that gummy chewables don't have nearly as many vitamins as like a non-gummy chewable or a
Yeah.
the non, yeah.
And another thing I've learned that is kind of scary to me is that supplements don't actually go through the FDA. So I think, at least this is my perspective, is like if you're going to take supplements, try to take one that's sort of like on brand, not like off brand. Because that could be dangerous depending on what's in there. And apparently the FDA doesn't care.
Okay. I don't like when I was looking at all these vitamins from Med and these high dollar ones. My cousin's a doctor. She works with a lot of women, and she just said take Flintstones. Since it's got all the same stuff as everything else.
Mhm.
That's what she has mothers take after they've had babies, and it's like okay. So far, it's working for me. I'm 10 million strong and growing still. So
Mhm.
my mom never
Yeah.
let me have Flintstones as a kid. They're too expensive.
Yeah, I think like the reasoning behind is like the business's secrets, like they're allowed to keep their like sort of formula under wraps.
So a company comes out the medication, they can keep the patent on it for a certain set number of years. And then after that, that's when all the generics could come out.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes they have one ingredient that's different or.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think we're getting close to time to wrapping up. There was one other thing we were going to talk about that I think we've already kind of addressed it, but it was about like arranging our care. Let's see, DJ, I believe DJ, your mom does all your care, right? Oh, DJ said we got all our supplements from the dirt we ate growing up. There you go, DJ.
Yeah, a
Okay.
lot of people overload on vitamins when they don't need to.
Yeah, and if you take too much vitamins, you're just going to urinate it out.
No.
It's like you're just anyway. Get rid of your. I could say something. Felix, who does your care?
So yeah, it's usually between my parents, so like they take turns on that. Um so sort of just depending on like just splitting the load that way, but yeah, that's me right now.
And David.
Yeah, it's pretty much my parents, but mostly my mom. And at night my grandmother and one of my and my cousin take care of me at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, I was one that also my mom used to do all of my care. She was older when she had me. It's like 12 years ago, she went to the hospital one time. And my dad and I were kind of stuck not knowing what to do. She wanted to be the one that took care of me. And I said, well, if you're not there, we need some. So I had people start coming in the mornings. But, if they weren't able to make it, my mom filled covered that day. If they didn't get everything done, my mom did it. Then 2018, she fell, broke her shoulder and her arm. And I had to completely change and find few people to do my care. And I have a really good friend that started doing it for a little bit, a family member that did it for a while. Actually about 4 years till just recently. But yeah, there is definitely some planning you have to do, but and finding people. So enjoy not having to look for people like we've got it right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, I have to figure out who's going to help me and be there. And luckily, I have an amazing person that lives in an RV just outside my house that does like all the extra stuff for me. It takes care of me. But it is important to be nice to make sure you get people that want to keep helping you. So I think that's one thing. Take away from this is, stand up for yourself. Like, what do you? What's the word? Advocate for yourself,
Yeah.
but do it nicely, because at some point you might need somebody to come help you. Next week, Lindy wants us to remind you that we're talking more about young adulthood, not so much about like school and stuff like we
No,
have here, but we'll see where it goes. But
was that the me and David episode?
yep, that's you and David, because DJ and I will be at conference for the
Mhm. The
good
PBND,
stuff.
right?
Yeah. Okay, and so does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Or any last comments somebody wants to add? All right. And remember, you can find the, yep, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yep.
That's what
Thank
DJ
you.
said. And be sure to look down there, find some information. And if you, about DJ's van fundraiser, which is through the Jet Foundation. If he raises half of the money, which donates to them, that goes to a fund that they hold in his name. So any donation is tax deductible, and then they give the rest of the money for that. So I would encourage everybody to find out that information. In fact, I can put it in the chat right here. It's so if you want to know, it's jetfoundation.org// JGF 2022 DJ Kimball, Kimble. And I'm sure that'll be posted other places. One person on my
Lindy's
Twitch
already
though.
posted it.
Oh, she did. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have Matthew back next week too. Good. Now somebody on my Twitch asked, who games and what do they play? Felix, do you play games?
Games, yeah. So I play Magic the Gathering, which is one thing I've talked about before. I also like to play Pokemon Go, which is another thing that I've done. Also I have a lot of Nintendo Switch games, so that's what I do.
All right. And you don't stream?
No. I often don't have time for that, but
Good. I don't need
um
the competition. It's like I'd be losing it. I know Matthew is a streamer on Facebook. If we could get his, okay, Matthew plays sports. What's your gamer tag on Facebook,
no PlayStation.
Matthew? But yeah, so I'm a Twitch streamer at Ryan J. Russell. There we go. Oh, twitch.tv/ Ryan J. Russell. And be sure to, you can go in there and give we'll get Matthews to you here in a second. He does a lot of sports games. I just watched him playing out of the park today. I believe that's what it's called. And so give us a follow. I'll just say, if you follow me on Twitch, even if you don't watch it, if you create an account and you have an
There we
Amazon
go.
Prime, you can give me a free subscription. Doesn't cost you anything. So Matthew is KGWA Matisse.
Oh, DJ
And
has one.
that's on Facebook. And I believe people on Twitch have actually seen. Okay, so that's what you can go follow on Facebook. And DJ Kimball is Delbert the Pickle 1. So he's there. He's been on my Twitch. David, do you play video games?
No, I don't.
It's because you're good at math.
Yeah.
Good. All right. That's good to hear. All right. I think we're good. I appreciate everybody that's been here. DJ and I both appreciate it. We appreciate you, Felix and David, for doing the hosting next week. We thank Matthew for being here, and for everybody that's watching this live or watching it in the future. Thank you, and yeah, have a great night, and keep coming back to Family Friends and Duchenne, because Lindy's always doing something, and there's always something new coming. It's a great
Yep.
source for information. All right, everybody be safe, and some of us will see you next week. DJ and I will see you in 2 weeks. I'll have a nice tan myself. All right. Bye.
Thank you,
All right,
everyone.
bye. Thank you. Bye.